live at Ascot. It is over the 1800 metre. The mile fashions on the field handicap. Looking forward to seeing everybody dressed up nicely for the fashions of the field. One of the better events at the race day. And this is a pretty even bunch, Mark. There's a lot of Wednesday, Thursday and even Kalgoorlie form in this race.
Yeah, some interesting form lines, Adam, but we'll go straight into the replay of number 8, Midnight Banquet, running second behind Fathoms of Gold.
Look, gone. Power Pact has got up near the rail, then Flying Force. 300 left to go. Fathoms of Gold, Midnight Banquet, they're still going toe-to-toe. 3 lengths Proxy. Ortier now takes Fathoms of Gold to the lead. He's drawn a half to 3/4 of a length on Midnight Banquet. He's starting to extend. He's pulling away. This has been a terrific ride, and it's a double for the Frenchman. Coming away, Ortier and Fathoms of Gold, more than a length.
Good performance there by Midnight Banquet. Of course, that was over the 2200 metres. Now back down to the 1800. You could see that as a negative, but I see it as a positive. I think this horse likes to roll along, does have that ability, drops down to 55.5 kilos and is tough. What I do see as a negative, though, is in the last 5 races has finished second on 4 occasions. Then you look at the career starts, 31 starts, 1 victory in 9 places. This horse just does not know how to win no matter what occurs, and I think there's a few in this race that just have a bit better form.
Yeah, from an intangible point of view, though, you look at the horse's run last start, it was duelling it out with Fathoms of Gold a long way out, and there was a lot to like about how he stuck on, and Sean McGrady and Mathieu Ortier had a real battle royale the whole way round, really, and it was a superb race to watch over 2200 metres. Look, not the worst hope, but from barrier 10 will certainly have to work. In the race, we've also got number 1, All Too Much. Now, hasn't this galloper been a fantastic performer for Connections? Peter Nucky rides here from barrier 1, should probably box seat or lead.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how much this galloper's just turned the form around recently. As you said, from barrier 1, they're enjoying going forward now, at least getting into that nice position. And I think with the speed in this race from horses like Midnight Banquet and I Done It, that's going to be the ideal spot. Now, meets Proxy better in the weights as well from meeting him a couple of starts ago. Proxy drops back from the 22 to the 1800 metres. I think it's a race between these two, and I'm going to go with number 1, All Too Much. From 2, Proxy, 12, Studio 54 and 10, Cosmic Journey.
Proxy back down in distance for me, looks to get the speed as well on top. Number 2, from the 1, All Too Much, 10, Cosmic Journey, and the 4, BOURNE.
Race number 6 at Ascot, it's over the 1,000 metres, and one thing we can guarantee with this race, Mark, there is going to be so much speed through the early stages. The question mark will be, can one of those leaders hold up, or will it be one of the swoopers that do appreciate that early tempo and run past the tied runners?
I think there's going to be plenty of speed on. It will suit the likes of number 10, Jester Jingle. Let's have a look at that sweeping run-on performance behind More Aces.
Followed by Daytot. Over on the inside is Captivated Point, followed further back Jester Jingle, and Ali is trying to thread its way through, and Little Gracie down the outside. Pike forced to go for the whip on Lord Devoutly. More Races closing in, quickly levels up with it now, and he runs past him. It's More Races on the outside for Brown. His Jester Jingle flooding down the outside, the post looming. More Races.
Could not believe the price last start of Jester Jingle. Ended up jumping at $8.50 and just kept drifting after they left the yard. And when you went through the form line, seeing that it beat Laura May by 2 lengths, was only beaten just by Sovereign Hall. I was surprised that with 57 kilos, this horse just kept drifting out. Now you get barrier 3, 54.5 kilos. Now you mentioned normally it has that sweeping run. Prior to that, it had led, and had led in a big way. I think as in this field, it will try and take the sit. There is so much natural speed and probably quicker speed in those earlier stages, but I can't see why Jester Jingle can't win this race.
Yeah, absolutely. She ticks all the boxes for me, and Peter Hall on board. We've seen these colours have a great run of it. Well related as well by Jester Tune. Well related to It's a Him, who runs around later on in the day. Group 1 winner. There's a lot to like about it, and just the run-on performance last start, it was a lot weaker grey, but can certainly play a big part in this race. We've also got number 5, Viking Forest, returning from Gino Paletti. He likes this horse, and he gave it a really nice push at the start of the week on return to Ascot.
Yeah, every time this horse goes around, it's underrated. Now the price that's opened up, it's probably pretty fair, but you go through the form lines, beaten under 2 lengths by Reeves Rocket, which won 4 or 5 in a row last season, beaten a long net by Bombs Away, and then beaten by Uptown Funk before a spell. Had a recent trial and trialled nicely on that occasion. Barrier 10 might look awkward, but again, with all the speed in this race, I think it's just going to get into a lovely position. While these leaders go head-to-head, I think this is the horse that will show the turn of foot late and go past them, and I think can win this race.
A very interesting runner we have at the bottom there, number 12, WRINKLY, the only 3-year-old of the field. Now, keeping in mind that he's a fairly young 3-year-old against the older horses, you wouldn't just throw him in the deep end for no reason. The Parnhams must have a real good opinion of this galloper. He showed that running 6th in the Karrakatta Plate when he wasn't really fancied at $61. 4.5 lengths behind Whispering Brook. The recent trial was fantastic. ticks a lot of boxes. He's a very, very nice type as well.
I think you can read between the lines here that they've got some bigger picture plans for this galloper. So this might not be the race this horse is winning, but they probably want a run under its belt before taking on some of these 3-year-olds. So I think it's probably a nice stepping stone here. And it's a good race for that stepping stone. You draw nicely in barrier 2, you get the 54.5 kilos, you get a lot of natural speed as well. This horse can sit close to the speed. So I think a perfect warm-up race.
The strength of Brad Parnham as well, Adam.
Exactly right. So big positives here. I've got it in my numbers. I think it plays a part, but I'm going to go with Viking Forest. I think this race is going to set up perfectly for this galloper to finish off strongly and beat them. From number 8, Invincible Warrior, which was very impressive on debut. 12, Wrinkly, and 10, Jester Jingle.
I'm going the Lonhro mare on top. Number 10, Jester Jingle. From the 12, Wrinkly. 8, Invincible Warrior. And 11, Ripper Red.
Race number 7 at Ascot. It is our feature event of the day. It's a Group 3 Northerly Stakes over the 1,400 metres. Mark, this is one of the better fields we've seen, especially to start a carnival off, our Ascot season off as well. My question for you, can anyone beat a Cerise and White Runner? They've got enough of them.
Yeah, there's 4 in there and they'll all be wearing different coloured hats, but it is a superb race. It's just great to have group racing back at Ascot, the home of Perth racing. And this is a Group 1 field almost. It is a cracking field. Let's have a look at last start winner, the Birthday Stakes winner, Lightning in My Veins.
Towards the tail is Lightning in My Veins. At the 300 though, great shot in front, tackled again by Vengabust, who won't go away. Wink and a nod now under pressure. Pike has to draw the whip. Lightning in My Veins looking good down the outside, running on strongly. He's coming with a great run, Lightning in My Veins. He stormed up from Great Shot Mickey Two Toes, and Lightning in My Veins drew clear.
What a performance there by the 4-year-old. Is only having its 6th career start and added to its already impressive career stats so far. The thing with Lightning in My Veins, a lot of people since this race have talked, how did this horse get out to $13? Well, the reason why it did is because 1,200 metres is too short. Fred Kersley said that, Stephen Parnham has said that, and when you watch the form, it certainly is. But when you take in the way the track had played on that occasion, it was a bit boggier, it was a bit slower. As Fred Kersley said, it was more like a 1,400 metre event. Then there was a fair bit of speed early. This horse really enjoyed it. You look at this race now, you get out to the natural 1,400 metres, and again you see speed in it. Carries at 57.5 kilos. Stephen Parnham had the choice between It's a Him and Lightning in My Veins. Tough choice to have. He'd be pretty happy with his selections at the moment. And he's gone the 4-year-old galloper. Again, I find it hard to want to put it on top with horses like Perfect Reflection, Disposition in the race as well. But he can win, and I would not be surprised at all with the form that we're seeing, because he is just going to continue to get better.
And let's just remember, Stephen Parnham rode It's a Him to Group 1 glory and rode in a Group 3 to win, rode It's a Him in a Group 3 earlier in the year, the Strickland, to win as well. So he loves that horse. He's got an affinity with that horse. For him to jump off and go with this one is a big, big push. And look, he'll only get better over further. He's all legs at the moment, and sitting with Karen Kersley, the forewoman of the Kersley stable, during the race, during the Birthday Stakes, and she was a few expletives going off. Oh, you're not going that early, but it was a perfectly timed run, and he had to go because he got bumped out of the way. He's only got improvement to come in the Railway Stakes. Well, he's going to be a big player in that. We've also got in the race a Group 1 winner returning from over east. A very interesting prospect is this. Pornichet comes from the Gay Waterhouse stable, now with Dan Morton. I think it was meant to go to stud, but then they decided to have another crack and potentially pick up a WA Group 1.
I thought the recent trial was good. There was still a little bit that you didn't like about the run. It certainly wanted to continue to lay out, and Brad Parnham, he's, as you mentioned a bit earlier in the program, probably one of our stronger riders. You could see he had his hands full, but I don't mind them having to throw at the stumps here. You go back even to last October, Group 1 Cox Plate, 4th with 59 kilos. You're running now in Perth with 59.5. I think it's a worthy go here. I think this horse in its best form can play a part. This isn't the race for it. I don't think it'll be in the top 4 here, but it's a stepping stone, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the galloper can do.
That's the feeling we got from Dan Morton earlier in the week, explaining this horse's chances. But if anybody's going to turn him around, it's Dan Morton. He is the man. We've also got the Cerise and White Runners. We'll cover them all off at once. Perfect Reflection, the filly from not too many fillies win a Group 1 at weight for age level. Perfect Reflection did that last year in the Kingston Town. She returns from a trip over east. Disposition, who also returns from a trip over east, beaten a nose in 2 Group 1s. Then we've got Neverland, who's just superb first up, and her record could be a lot better than what it is. An Ideal Image, who just didn't get a crack at them last start.
Yeah, we'll try to run through all of these quickly. Perfect Reflection, one of the most exciting horses I've ever seen. We've had horses in recent years like Delicacy and Perfect Reflection where you've had to deny the stats, the history history of racing, and these gallopers have done it. The Group 1 Kingston Town with the 50 kilos, defied the odds there to get the job done. Very impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing this horse come back. Raced well over East, there's no doubt about that, but just didn't think race in its normal, natural pattern, and I think William Pike obviously understands her really well. The speed in the race will suit. She's a definite chance. Disposition, you don't need to say much more, as you said. You take a look at the Group 1 and Group 3 form from over East at Caulfield and Flemington, and this galloper is right in it from barrier 6 with the 57.5 kilos. Nice trial as well. Neverland's the interesting runner for mine. We saw this horse, of course, race in the Perth Cup, finished second on that occasion. I think definitely the 18 to 2,000 metres is ideal. I'm just wondering, she does have that very good first up record, has never lost, 3 from 3 first up. I'm just wondering now as a 5-year-old mare, maybe she might lose that turn of foot and that ability first up. Waiting to see there, but Peter Hall has jumped off Ideal Image, which I still think watching that replay was an absolute moral beating last starter with how this horse did not get out. Joseph as a party takes run. This horse has never lost second up. There is stats galore if you want to back a Cerise and White runner, and you could have any 4 of them and no one can really argue with you because you will be able to sell that horse is going to win.
I guess, Adam, the only real negative with a few of these runners, particularly the mares, we never know how they're going to return, and they return to the track, we'll find out. But it's always a bit of a hit and miss. I mean, Perfect Reflection will open up at about even money. So, look, whether you want to take that gamble, I'm not sure, but there are some other well-priced runners from the Peters Yard.
My motto for races like this, sit back, watch and enjoy. Don't dive in, enjoy the racing that we do have. You can get prices about other gallopers early in the card, but I'm going to go with number 3, Perfect Reflection. So excited about seeing her back. From 4, Disposition, 5, Lightning in My Veins, and 10, Ideal Image.
I'll still be betting, though. Number 3, Perfect Reflection for me. On top of the 4, Disposition, 9, Neverland, and 10, Ideal Image.
Final race of the day at Ascot. It is over the 1100 metres. We go from a very good event to still exactly the same when you look at horses like Smoko, Travanator, Cool Passion, Silverstream, Volkov, Bourne Supremacy. We're talking top class sprinters, even Showy Chloe and Hot Goods in the race.
One of those mares you mentioned in there, Volkov, back at Ascot. She's another one that will improve a few lengths. She won at Belmont last start. Let's have a look at that win, beating Cool Passion.
He's starting to drag the others to her. Then Benito third. Here comes Cool Passion starting to let loose with the run. Rebel King's over towards the inside. Then Travanator. And Volkov is starting to sprout wings down the outside. Hot Goods in trouble. Tackled by Cool Passion. Now Volkov. Volkov on the outside. Storms up. Grabs Cool Passion. Has a head in front. And Volkov cracks it at Belmont Park final.
Strong performance there by Volkov. And I mentioned with Gary Crispin after the race that we'd never seen her perform so well at Belmont Park, which was a scary sign for people going up against her at Ascot. She had 9 attempts at Ascot, 5 victories, 3 seconds, and then has only finished outside the top 3 on 1 occasion. That was the last run before she went to a spell when she was beaten by 3 lengths. Her form is very good. There's good speed in this race as well. The barrier hurts. Barrier 15 is going to make it very tough, but if they're running on, watch out.
She's still one of the best each way chances, opening up at about $10. I think she runs on and she goes very, very close to winning this. We've also got in the race number 5, Cool Passion, Adam. The blinkers go on. Paul Harvey rides. Now, this galloper has ability, but still needs to prove it at this 78 plus level.
I think there's a lot of positives here for Cool Passion. Last start in that 78 level was only beaten 0.8 lengths by Volkov, was wide with no cover on that occasion. From barrier 8, it's still not an ideal draw, but the blinkers going on. The way this race just pans out with a couple drawn out a little bit wider, I think a Cool Passion gets in that spot, gets some nice cover throughout, and I think this horse will be winning.
Number 8, Silverstream, wears the Cerise and White of Bob and Sandra Peters. William Pike rides here. Barrier 11, trials were very good, but keeping in mind that this horse ran 4th in a Winterbottom last year, that'll probably be the aim again. A lot tougher this year with the nominations coming out of the likes of Chautauqua buffering and Lankan Rupee potentially coming over. But look, this horse has bigger targets ahead this spring and should probably be winning this.
She showed her class last prep, as you mentioned, with that performance. Of course, some really good races behind Lucky Street and Red Aura as well. The recent trials have been good. I like the win over Smoker on that trial. Barrier 11, again, as you mentioned, will be getting back, should be winning a race like this and should go very close as well. But I'm going to go with number 5, Cool Passion. I just think the race maps out really nicely for it. From number 10, Bourne Supremacy, 8, Silverstream, and 9, Volkov.
I'm going the 8, Silverstream, ahead of the 9, Volkov, 10, Bourne Supremacy, and 5, Cool Passion.
Time now to turn our attention to the best bets of the card, and I think not only the best bet of the card, but the best bet we've had in a little while is race 2, number 2, Star Exhibit. And then for the each way odds, going with race 4, number 8, Come On Board with only the 51 kilos.
Yeah, I really like the double that I've got as well. Race 2, number 2, Star Exhibit, as you mentioned, Adam, and race 6, number 10, Just a Jingle. Double them up for about a $8 or $9 return.
Let's hope that these winners do come in for you as we do return to Ascot. Make sure you follow us on social media. There'll be plenty on there with this weekend of racing. Perth firstracing.com.au for more of the events coming up. On behalf of both of us, hopefully we found you plenty of winners for the first race meeting at Ascot.